Hello to all the fine folks out there in Facebook land. I'm joined here with my creative geniuses of Bardstone Comics. I got Kevin Miner in the upper left corner there.
Hello.
Got the mighty Brett Pinson in the upper right.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, and then you got old me down here. So, how's everyone doing?
Doing
Fantastic. How about you?
I've been doing well. It's been a great week so far. So excited about where things are going. But yeah, I've been really excited about this Kickstarter. It's been going really well here. As we can see here, we're up to 60 donors. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier with the first week. It's been fantastic. Sorry, as I'm sharing all the links on everything.
Yeah, get the link shared. If you're tuning in and watching this, please share this on your pages as well, because this is all about getting the word out. That's what crowdfunding is all about. It's, we the creators are coming directly to you instead of being filtered by the large companies. You get to buy direct from us, and this is an exciting project inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's writing, created by yours truly up there, Kevin Miner. So yeah. So, what special words of wisdom would you like to share, Kevin, regarding where you're at?
Well, first, I mean, like I said already, it's so fantastic to only be 1 weekend and 150% funded. We've already reached the first stretch goal, halfway to the second stretch goal already. It's humbling. It truly is. So many great comments already about the book. Just a lot of excitement, for the book to come out, and for Poe and for my artwork. And it just, again, it really gives you a great feeling as a creator that people are responding to what you created. It's something I truly loved creating, and it's great to see that everyone's responding, and I can't thank everyone enough. I'm so happy with where we are 1 weekend. Want to push for another 2 weeks and see how far we can take this.
Yeah, awesome. And if you're tuning in, I see we got some viewers in there right now. If you're watching, feel free to just comment hi. We'll post your comments up on the screen, and if anyone wants to join in the talk too, I can send you an invite if you want to join on the screen here as well. So how about you, Brett? How's your day going?
It's been good. It's been a busy day. We had our odd music show this morning, and I did some things this afternoon, and now I'm here. And while I'm talking to you guys, I'm finally downloaded the new pages for our upcoming future Kickstarter. I'm starting to get those formatted for me to letter. So. Nice.
Yeah, excited about that. We got some of the fun parts. Kevin and I were talking earlier about this. When you're dealing with comics, especially what's been really rewarding for Crimson Shadows is this is my first time doing one that is such a true collaboration, in that it's like we're doing it properly. A lot of times, my other comic books, I did 100% of the work myself. This one, we have a penciler, we have an inker, we have a colorist, we had someone do layouts, the writing, the lettering, every step of the way we have pieces involved, so it keeps the machine going, But also some of the funny parts in doing this, and I've learned this even on other projects I've done where I've been the colorist for other companies, is sometimes artwork, when it comes through, things could be missing or wrong on the pages, and you catch and you have to fix. So for instance, I mentioned to Kevin today, Crimson Shadow takes place in the year 1888. And as I'm coloring, it suddenly dawns on me that the lamp on the dresser is a very modern looking lamp.
Right.
I'm like, they didn't have electricity then. So I had to erase it all out and draw in a gas lamp that they would have back then on a dresser. So little things like that pop up. That's fun, but it's fun in the creative process.
Oh yeah. Well, see, and this is a difference with the Crimson Shadows, where it's all of us working on a group of us. That's something I've always done, and I'm working on issue 5 of Boomtown Scabs, and it's 100% me. It's I did the writing,
Right.
I'm doing the drawing, I'll do the inking, I'll do the lettering and the coloring and all that. And that's a different take for me on this. So I'm used to the collaboration on stuff, so it's really, and this is actually still different for me because I'm just doing the lettering for the Crimson Shadows and that. So. But I like I always like the collaboration efforts. Like Scott and I talked before, when I sent him my letters, he's like, excited the fact that I'm bringing something different he never thought of. Kevin is with his inks. What's the other guy's name?
Travis Smith.
J. Travis Smith. He's bringing so much with his pencils, and things like that. So it's just a lot of cool collaboration that goes into it. And that's one thing when I work with people on my other books is I try to give the artists as much freedom as possible to explore their creativity within the boundaries of the story, so they can add little tweaks to it here and there visually. And then when I color and letter it, I actually will make adjustments during the dialogue and stuff like that to help along with what they did.
Yeah, and I don't want to give too much of a shout out to J. Travis Smith because I don't want other people to steal him from me. But I gotta say, but in all seriousness, if you need a penciler, he's awesome. He has been very professional. He's been on time. There was only one hiccup, but the whole country shut down. So and he's already back on track and doing well. He maintains quality and timeliness, which is hard when you're hiring artists. As all three of us are artists, and we can attest to things. It can be hard sometimes to keep deadlines, but the other side of it is we artists need to eat and we need to get paid, and we and I think that's one nice thing for not to toot my own horn, but Travis, the other day me and him had a long conference call, and he was really loving working with Bardstone as an artist for us because we understand what it is to be an artist, so we know what his needs are as well. Mm-hmm. So he really appreciated Bardstone's how we treat him as the artist, and he's really looking forward to. Me and him were already brainstorming a little bit about issue 2 of Crimson Shadows and some other projects he has in mind that he's hoping Bardstone can work with him on, and as well as some of our future projects with him. So I'm really excited about what the future could bring on this, and he's a top-notch guy.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Great. It's been great working with everyone, and it's a different feel for me just doing the inking. It's so different, like Brett said, when for like the Poe book, I'm doing everything from start to finish. So when I get pissed that the writer screwed something up, that's me. Shit, so I only got myself to blame.
The other day, I noticed something was wrong in the script. It's like, hey, I took it from the script. I'm like, well, someone should fire whoever wrote that. Right. Oh, wait, it's me.
Well, it does give you a completely different, admiration for the other aspects of creating comics. This is really the first project I've done from beginning to end when it's all sequential. I've done bits and pieces of things, and but to actually put everything together, create a 24-page book, lay it out, plan out, multiple issues. I don't think a lot of people really understand what time goes into it. I started the idea of this. I was speaking to Scott and Brett about wanting to do this book back in, this time last year. It was really where the thought came into my head. So
I think we were drinking beer then, and we were talking about it. So.
Yes, yeah, that pretty much negates anything but me sleeping. So that could be pretty much any time. So, but it's just one of those scenarios that you don't realize how much time you put into it until you actually sit down and try to measure it or try to do it on a schedule. And for me, working a full-time job and trying to make this work, I've always known I have to break them up into small categories. So I don't do, when I'm doing the Poe book, it's very disjointed because I'm the only one doing it. So, I might completely finish an entire story, move on to the next one. And the next one, I'll do all the pencils, and then I'll do all the inks and the colors and go back and forth. I get tired of coloring, so I start drawing more pages, so it's a different freedom, but that's a double-edged sword. So
I also feel like the energy level is maintained better the way we're doing it for Crimson Shadows, because while you're working on one thing, I'm working on another. It keeps it going, and now Brett's working on pages while I'm working on certain ones, and it just feels like that energy and momentum you get going, it keeps going. It kind of feeds itself, and
Right.
the hardest part of any project, especially when you're doing it yourself, is when you get to that middle, because it just feels like you've been doing it for so long, and it feels like there's so much more to go. But doing it this way, we got through the middle ground so fast. We're into the final third now already, and it really flew fast when you really think about it. I mean, I wrote this story a couple years ago, actually, and I forgot. I remember it, but I forgot I actually wrote the whole thing out. And it was clearing out an old computer that I came across. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot I actually wrote it all out. I just did some tweaks to update it. But really, we've really flown on this. We're like 8 weeks into this or something, 10 weeks into from when we actually decided, you know what, let's move forward on this. So it's been really cool, the speed.
Yeah, to be able to do work on this, again, this is one of those silver linings to a bad situation with being stuck at home the entire time. So, I've been working from home probably 75% of the time. I still go into my day job, a couple days a week for a little while. So I just had more time, here that I could look at things, but it's a great combination. So I've been working on the post stuff, and then I'll get a couple of pages from Crimson Shadows. So I'm just kind of hopping back and forth. And like you said, it's so structured when you have multiple creators the way that we have in that book. So it's not just you. For Poe, I'm like, I'm going to take a week off. I'm not feeling it. And the other way, it feels more like a job. And you're like, I got these pages, I want to get these done, or I want to tweak this, I want to do that. So it's definitely a different feel, and it comes up with a different end product, which so far it's so fun to be part of this project.
I agree, and I really look forward to what we do in the future as Bardstone, as we move forward with these different projects that we have in our wheelhouses. There, each of us have our own different projects we've been talking about, and I really feel like we have a really good feeling about Bardstone and where our future is. And we've had this whole plan. We've already ordered some branded banners, pop-up banners that'll be for shows and some other things. So we're really excited about this.
Yeah, definitely.
So back to Poe.
Yeah.
Back to Poe here. Is this a self-portrait of you at the end of the day, Kevin? What is it? Now, you know who this looks like to me? The actor David Boreanaz, or what's his, the
Bones?
Bones.
Well, he wasn't Bones, but he was in Bones, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was
and he played Angel on the show Angel as well.
There you go.
Vampire Slayer, yeah.
I have no idea. Maybe it was vicariously. I'm sure I've been on the Star Trek binge the entire time I've been drawing this. So
have you?
I've worked my way from the beginning to the end. So I'm surprised you don't see Jean-Luc Picard pop up in this and like a Borg hiding in the background somewhere,
Yeah, I mean, like people can play. Guess what episode of Star Trek Kevin was watching when he drew this panel?
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like in Crimson Shadows when you have to see where I hit all the F-bombs in my inking. So it's like, where's Waldo? But more fun.
See, I thought I didn't see Boreanaz until you said that. I was seeing Willem Dafoe.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back here. I could totally see Kevin drawing William Dafoe.
I like William Dafoe. So now it's each time I try to consciously make some of the characters different, but you kind of go back to the wheelhouse, and it's just whatever came up in my head. So no real reference.
See, it looks like Norman Osborn from the Spider-Man movie. Yeah, when
There you go.
when he's fighting the goblin inside him.
There you go.
Yeah. He's like, but Peter Parker is my friend.
We have to kill him.
So for those who haven't been part of this Kickstarter yet, there's some awesome rewards that you can choose from. This is the Kickstarter exclusive cover.
Correct.
Yes.
So they will only get this if they go through the Kickstarter. So that's pretty cool. He's got a bleeding heart. That's like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom.
A little background on the first cover. The first cover is giving you a little bit of a clue to the entire series. So you have the Raven, Lenore, the Black Cat, the Telltale Heart, Mask of the Red Death. So all these different stories or characters are going to be represented in the 3 issues. So
nice.
This is kind of a collage of all the. This is actually one of the first things I did was to come up with an idea of what I wanted to include. And it's one of those scenarios that you draw it out and then you're like, oh, I drew it. Now I have to make it happen. So, like I said, the Mask of the Red Death will be the feature story in the 3rd book. And the more I lay it out, it's probably going to be a very long story because it's going to be very difficult to tell the story I want to tell in a very minimal amount of pages, but that's where the fun comes in, I guess. The skull is just more of a reference to the the macabre that is. So
is this Mask of the Red Death?
Yep, that's good old Red.
And that's also your narrator.
Yeah, he pops up. He'll pop up at the beginning of each book and welcome you to the book. He's kind of my crypt keeper, my witch or old man, from the old EC Comics kind of scenario, which I loved. So there's him welcoming you to the very first issue, and he'll pop up in a few places along the way. So he's a little mischievous and he'll work his way.
Maybe he's kind of like Final Destination. Dust in the Wind starts playing whenever he appears. You got to have a theme song for him.
Right. And in the story, good old in the Mask of the Red Death, the story basically is it's death, or more importantly, the plague embodied. As a little clue, death or the plague embodied doesn't necessarily mean every time you see him that it's the same death. So keep that in mind. Just like if you ever saw the fantastic rendition that when they did the movie adaptation, I think it was 67 with Vincent Price. At the end of the movie, you realize that there's hundreds of deaths. There's them cloaked in red and green and blue and different colors. And you realize quickly that, at the end of that, which was not part of Poe's story, but it was one of the best additions I've ever seen in an adaptation, where it gave you that clue of like, he's the Red Death. So he was very importantly, at that time it'd be, what would that be? Cholera? What was that at that time? Or smallpox? I'm trying to think which one it actually was, but each different, version of death, it wasn't the same one. They all looked alike, but death takes different forms. So, it'll be that's a fun little twist, and that's something I've always I remember seeing that movie when I was, again, 10 years old, 12 years old, and that part of the movie always stuck with me. It really always, I love that part. I love that movie just to get to the end of it and realize, oh my God, death isn't just a single entity; it's multiple entities in multiple fashions.
Now, I'm gonna pull up on the screen here my favorite version of death. Of all time.
It's going to be Bill and Ted, isn't it?
That's what I was thinking.
Let's see.
No, that's one of my favorites too. Billy and Mandy. That's an awesome show.
I loved that cartoon.
He's like, Billy, you're so stupid.
And what was it? Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Well, see, that's when Cartoon Network actually came up with some great cartoons. You had Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. You had Courage the Cowardly Dog. That's where they introduced Powerpuff Girls. They had Johnny Bravo, which was great. And they all came from, a lot of them came from the cartoon they did starting in the mid 90s, just doing shorts and introducing them all. And that's where Jendy Tartakovsky really got his break in and everything. And he did the first Clone Wars cartoon they had. So, yeah, Billy and Mandy's an awesome show.
I loved Death in this.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
Well, yeah, they tricked him. So basically, he was in servitude to the kids for the rest of their lives.
Right.
And Mandy is just, Mandy is like the real evil. Billy's just a duddard. He's just stupid.
He's like Dudley, the stepbrother to Harry Potter, Dursley, or
Dursley. It's Dudley Dursley.
Dudley Dursley.
Yeah, well, the thing with Dudley, though, Dudley was actually smart. Billy is just completely stupid. They've actually embodied him in live action as the neighbor kid in the show Sheldon, which is the spinoff from Big Bang Theory. And the kid next door is just completely stupid, like Billy.
Just like Billy. So one way you can find our Kickstarter is I've posted the link here in the comments threads there, but you can also go to our Bardstone page. It's at bardstone.com, and see here at the Kickstarter link there. You click the Kickstarter link and it takes you right here to our current Kickstarters. So whatever our current Kickstarter is, this is where we'll post it. And right here, click that, it takes you right to the Kickstarter page. So it's very easy to do, easy to find, so you have no excuses.
Well, I think the great thing is, we talked about we're in stretch goal time now with these, is it's funded. So anybody that chooses to continue and help out with this, it's a funded book. It's a done book that we talked about. It's coming out. And because it's already funded, that you're going to get your book. I think you said by August is what you're shooting for, Kevin?
Yeah, and that's just more of a being very conservative due to, because we don't know what the heck's going to happen. I mean,
right.
If in a more of a perfect world, the week after the campaign ends, I could send it off to be printed, and then it's just more what the turnaround time is. So just working in the field that I've worked in and knowing how problems pop up, I always be a little cautious. I like to under promise, over deliver in this scenario. So I'm hoping pretty confident unless something changes.
Did you say
more like mid-July?
I think you said that backwards.
Did I?
Under promise and over deliver? Or?
Under promise and over. Did I say it backwards?
Or did you say over promise?
I think you said the opposite.
Tomato.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I heard wrong. But we know what you meant.
Yeah, so I think a good way to look at this now is it's no longer a crowdfunding. It's a pre-order at this point.
Yeah,
this is a chance to pre-order the book at a lower cost than what you're going to find it in either stores or at conventions. Get a unique version of the book that you won't get after this, and get some cool swag to go along with it. With already reaching the first stretch goal, you're instantly going to get a free signed print. Every physical reward is going to get an extra signed print no matter what. We are only $250, I think, away from the second signed print, which will be Mr. Zambelli's cover version. At $3,000, if we reach that, it'll be a third signed print. And then after that, the stretch goals will get much more fun. That really is the point that you get to the financial.
What's cool about stretch goals for people who don't understand Kickstarter is everybody gets them. So when we unlock a stretch goal, everyone wins. So even if you donated during week 1, it's okay. If we hit a stretch goal in week 3, you're part of it because you're part of the whole package. So that's the beauty of stretch goals. Now, I gotta give a shout out to you, Kevin. The other day I did a live stream of me trying to draw Poe, and it makes me appreciate your portrait much more. He's not an easy guy to draw.
Well, like I said before, there's only a few real good pictures of Poe. Yeah. So in a lot of ways, if you actually drew him how he looked, people won't
It doesn't look
recognize
right.
me. Right. Yeah.
I
I've seen a
actually
lot of
started
pictures.
sketching one out. I found one that I really liked, and it's a picture of him. It's like he was seated on a bench, and his head is turned a little.
Mhm.
And I started sketching out. I'm like, this doesn't look like him,
Yeah.
because we're used to like this. This is the famous portrait,
Right.
and you got that
right.
dark. The lighting is coming from above, so you get those really dark brow lines, but he has also a very asymmetrical face and
Yeah.
head. So
Yeah, he's got that giant forehead. I always say caveman forehead.
yeah,
Always.
it's big
And
and
that's-
huge.
In a lot of the illustrations, you know, you'll see people, and I really think they draw it the way they normally would, and then they just take it and shrink it. And
That's what
just
I
get
ended up
that.
doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, this
it's-
doesn't look right. Then I squished his head. I'm like, oh, that's better.
right.
You squish it like a grape.
But yeah,
Poor
the
Poe.
stretch goals are the bread and butter of Kickstarter. It's what drives everything, because at this point, it's everyone's still invested, literally. But
Right.
the more everyone shares the project, more the people promote it and say, hey, check this out. They're it's great, and they're helping me, but they're helping themselves too, because the further we get, the more everybody gets. And it's very much one of the scenarios where we just keep piling things on. There's just going to be more freebies and more freebies. And we're halfway to the second stretch goal. After we get to the third one, then at that dollar amount, it really opens up some avenues because of print run size, and some other fun things that we could do. So
yeah,
the
even at
next
just
goal,
$15, you get multiple issues. You can get the exclusive cover with a regular cover, and then there's some signed bonuses. It goes up from there. But there are some really cool pledges you can do to get some really cool rewards without spending a fortune. $20, you get a signed exclusive cover along with a metal print. Now, this particular one we're looking at here with Poe's portrait, this is a super exclusive copy, right?
Yeah, this is I wanted to do something a very rare issue. So this is it'll be a hand numbered to 25. So only 25 will ever be printed. I wanted something that was an ultimate collectible and just something very fun to do.
Right.
I think
did that
half
one
of
sell
those
out?
are gone.
Did that one sell out? I think it is sold out.
I think half gone, because you can get it in a couple different ways. So you can buy it by itself, and I think that there's only 15 of those available. And then there's it's also available in some of the other packages where you can get every single cover, in some of the larger packages. So
getting it by itself is sold out, but you can still get it in other.
I think there's still a few available individually. I think it's $50. Right, go up one more.
I don't see it.
Maybe it is sold out. maybe I lost track.
Well, I'm glad I got day one. I signed up for this one because I wanted to make sure I got it. Like, this is going to be very limited. There's only 25. There's still other ways you can get it though. The $65 package, you get all of the covers. This is for the completist. Somebody who likes to collect everything. This is it. You get them all.
Yeah, so, I think there's how many's left on that one. There's only, it'll tell you there in the red. Only one.
There's only one left of that one.
One.
Only one left. So if you want the full package, get in there, make your pledge now. You go to Kickstarter, do a search for Poe Macabre Master. Go to bardstone.com, click the Kickstarter, or find the link in this post. So only one left at 65.
I was very happy to see. I did a retailer offer in there, and both of those sold out.
Nice.
And I've been contacted by a couple of different comic shops interested in selling the book, which is fantastic. And this is another great thing for Kickstarter. One of the comic shops was in New Jersey. I've never been to New Jersey in my life. And I think the other one was somewhere south, like Louisiana. It was great to hear, and like, hey, they found it and they think it's pretty cool. And I have to contact them and figure out how we would distribute to them. But it's a great avenue to get the books out to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's an affordable way for everyone to get a hold of the books because we're printing them ourselves. Money is coming direct to the creators. We're shipping them directly to you. So we're cutting out a lot of the costs that usually inflates books or any other product that you buy.
Yeah.
So you're directly supporting me. You're directly supporting our books, our creativity, and it's a great chance to get a really bang for your buck in a lot of
the
ways.
other thing to consider too is you're also supporting independent comics, and you
Right.
know, while it's nice the money we're bringing in for this particular book, we're not going to be retiring off it at all. But what this does
Right.
is it gives us enough fuel in the tank to get the next project going, and
Right.
it allows us to continue and get that cycle going of putting product out. And all of us come across this as creators when we're doing this stuff on our own. You know, it can take a year to 2 years between issues because you're busy with your own life, you're busy doing the projects you're hired for, you're busy doing commissions, you're busy doing Comic-Cons. And when you're doing a solo project, you have to squeeze it in where you have time.
Right.
And meanwhile, the
Right.
fans are like, when's the next issue? When's the next issue? And this is the type of avenue, by supporting these type of things through Kickstarter, it allows us to put instead of doing fan art and drawing another Wolverine picture or another Star Wars picture, we can put our energies into producing fresh content and give you, the reader, new stories, new artwork with original characters. So that's what this
Exactly.
is all about, independent comics.
Yeah, it's very odd to say it's we're almost middle of May and I haven't drawn a superhero this year. And it's
Right.
Normally at this time would have been a lot of fan art. I think I've done a few pieces here and there. I've done some sketch card work for a couple entities, but for all in all, for what I've been doing at this point, it would have been a lot of pop culture or things that sell at the shows. Instead, I've been able to concentrate and draw, all this Poe stuff and an 1800s bedroom for 17 pages.
Hey, there were pages that were something else.
Oh, I tell you, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm like, oh, someone dies, blood, ink, ink. I was really happy. And then you're like, hey, here's 2 more pages.
Keep in mind, issue 1 of Crimson Shadows is it's laying out the groundwork and setting up stuff. So,
it's been a
I
blast.
promise issue 2 is going to ramp up.
Well, I know what's coming up. I know what the last 2 pages or last 3 pages look like, and I'm like, I just want to get to the murder scene. I want the murder one. I can't wait for that. So, but yeah,
spoiler alert: someone dies.
Yeah, spoiler alert. It's a book about vampires and Jack the Ripper. Someone dies. Many people die.
Everybody lives.
You could have called it.
But yeah, the best thing going right now is this community has been so supporting of my stuff and for years at this point, and all of us, we've all done Kickstarters, so I can't thank everyone enough. It really is fantastic to see how well this has been received, and at this point it's a pre-order, so jump on if you haven't gotten the book yet. There's a lot of good rewards, a lot of stretch goals coming up. The one thing I will say is, Scott mentioned before, we're starting to look at being able to order, because a lot of the places are opening again where we can order some product. So I'm able to talk to the printer and find out what kind of special enhancements I could add to the book. So I always say the next stretch goal will give me the opportunity to do something special to the book, whether it's a enhancement of the cover. I'm not quite sure yet. I got many more options than I thought were going to be available to me. So I thought I'd have 2 or 3, and I think they gave me 12. And I'm like, oh, geez, what do I do? So I'm looking forward to that. We've ordered a lot of promo material. We've ordered, Scott said, some banners. I ordered I ordered the prints. I ordered some fantastic buttons and and some vinyl
You got
stickers and some cool,
some
really cool
awesome
stuff.
packaging that you got a jump start on the packaging to ship.
I am so happy because that was one thing that the last couple books I've done. Not only does it worry me to ship a book out, I want to ship it out so it's super sturdy, and like Brett has right there.
This was from
we both have it.
this was from Sean Forney's Kickstarter, and such a great packaging. And everything came just like this, nice sealed. Inside's this little part here. It's all attached, so it's not sliding anywhere. And it locked it all in. All the prints, the buttons, the books, and everything was right here. And
Gemini, that's it. Yeah. I found
mine's covered up.
Buy that in bulk.
It's called Gemini.
Yeah, Gemini. Okay. I'll call it Gemini.
That's a reference to the 60s space project. Instead of Gemini, they call it Gemini.
But so. Our friend Sean Forney used this for Scarlet Huntress, his Kickstarter, which was phenomenal, by the way. Absolutely loved the rewards, the quality of the book, everything about it was great. But this packaging, it kept the book in perfect condition, no issues with the quality of the book. And this is what we're going to be using also for our book.
Yeah, it's I was so happy to find it. And again, this is a scenario where the Kickstarter has enabled me to upgrade something that most people would not think about: the packaging, making sure the book gets to you in the best condition humanly possible. And I wouldn't have been able to spend the money on that type of packaging had I not had the support on the Kickstarter. At this point, I last count, I have to have a minimum of 150 books printed just to fill the rewards right now, as of this moment.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that's fantastic. And the original print run idea, it's just so everyone has an idea where I was looking, was about between 500 and 1,000, depending on where the Kickstarter ended. So once you get to a certain point, you have to you need to buy, almost a pallet worth of shipping material, because you're at that level. Well, once you start buying a pallet of stuff, the basic stuff you were paying, $1 for, you're getting this premium shipping package that is definitely an upgrade, definitely going to help get the books to people in better condition, and it's costing you the same amount of money. It's some of the little things that really are the biggest benefits.
And then, and moving forward as we grow as Bardstone, like Kevin and I spoke, there's other potential opportunities with things like getting them certified, the grading.
Yeah.
So we could offer rewards with graded comics and things like that. So there's more options as we grow that we'll be able to add to this, which is also, a pleasure to do for us, because the more we grow, the more options we can provide to the fans.
Right. Yeah. It'll be fantastic. The guys at Ready Comics down in Phoenix, who do all of our printing for us with our prints and other things, metal prints and stuff that we sell at shows, also do fantastic jobs on books. So it'll be a pleasure to work with them. They're a diamond certified supplier. To work with them and to get, I hope to have a good portion of books graded and sent out for exactly what Scott said. Not only because, I want one. It's one of those. I want one. I sit on my show and be like, "That's mine." I want to take it to the show and just, "That's mine. It's mine. Look, mine." I want that. That is really something. It's something I truly want to be able to sit and say I accomplished that. So that's a goal for me. But I know how much people love that, and those are going to be things that now this is the first Kickstarter. So like Scott said, this enables us to piggyback and keep growing on each of these Kickstarters as they go, and we'll be able to offer more things, multiple things, combination of things as it grows.
Now, and moving forward too, it'll be. I'm really sad because I thought our debut as Bardstone at the convention circuit was going to be Vegas. Unfortunately, that's now been canceled. So we'll have to have a debut somewhere else.
Well, right now,
Yeah.
I believe it's looking to be, unless something happens in July, which it looks like I'm not hearing anything again. Cincinnati, we know we are confirmed for Kevin and I, and Scott can just come join us. And
Yeah. So our next hope is our so we got to do like a Princess Leia, help us Cincinnati, or our own hope.
well, they keep
hopefully,
announcing guests, so he's not. If I can tell, Andrew, who runs Cincinnati, they have no plans to cancel at this time, and I mean, Ohio is expected to be fully open by July anyway, so that's still a few months afterwards, which I think will be a great time. And actually, I mean, that's for me under my Boomtown Press I've been doing and everything else. Cincinnati is going to be the last run through the end of the year of whatever I have right now for fan art is all I'm going to have. I'm not reprinting any more fan art after this. I'm going strictly books between Bardstone, what I create, what we all work together on. That's all I'm promoting from going forward because I think it's this year's shows without having the shows. If you relied on just the fan art, you get nothing else really to go on. I mean, there's people doing well with it. I know some people are still selling stuff and it's just fine. Got no problem with that. Never have. But I think having our creator own projects is going to be the way to go. So that little baby picture is my little funny thing. It was basically, this is how you look like if you eat all your quarantine snacks in one night. It's funny. And that picture right there of me though, it's got my books in front of it. That was I forget who took that picture, but it was like they shared it and stuff like that. And it was really good looking, going, "Oh, fine, you want to take my picture again? Here we go."
The way you're making that face, I thought that picture was, I mean, all of us, we used to try to discourage people from taking photos. But it's gotten so crazy. It's like it was like a losing battle. You still respect the artist, ask permission before you take a photo. Yes. But I thought that face you're making is like, are you seriously taking that picture of my booth?
That's kind of, well, I forget who did it, but they did ask, and I remember that they asked that they would publish it. I was like, fine. I was just kind of, I think at that point in the show, I was just kind of like, I'm tired. Now I forget which exact show it is, but if you look behind there, it's kind of blurred. That's a BB-8 sippy cup. Okay, and that's right. I see it. That was given to me at that show by our good friend Jay Brandt. Got it for me at Disney World. Because I jokingly told him, I said, "Oh man, I missed out on because I was there before that, before he was." So this was around 2014 or 15, somewhere around there. It'd be 15 because that's when 15 or 16. That's when Force Awakens came out, and I missed out on it. And I was like, "Oh, I really wanted." He actually got me one, so I thought it was pretty cool. So thank you, Jay.
Jay's awesome. We gotta get Jay to join us into either Odd Musings or one of these Poe discussions. With Jay, the nice thing is, since we could put a mature rating on it, so he doesn't have to wear pants if he doesn't want.
Oh, I know. When we had him actually in studio, when we were doing the in studio stuff, it was like he actually had to wear pants. And man, you want to talk about, just a pain to get him to actually put his pants back on. I drove him up there too. It's like I was like, "Put your pants back on." He goes, "But I'm not working."
So while we have people on your page, Brett, this is your Brett R. Pinson Creations. They can find you at Brett R. Pinson on Facebook. And this is where you post your artwork and things for Boomtown Scabs, The Expendables, and all those series. How about you give a little mention of the different books that you have?
Well, you got 2/3 of them right there. So yeah, Boomtown Scabs is the originator for that I started doing with John, and that's the first book did. And then The Expendables came about. Actually, Carl came next, and it was tied in with the Boomtown Scabs. But then The Expendables came out of the a comic discussion I was having with a bunch of people about when they were killing off Captain America. So I kind of came with the idea of creating these clones. So those have been the three main series.
Do you have a photo album for your different book series? Or not?
There should be some stuff within the photos there. I've got a lot of different stuff I shared from shows, some of the different artwork I've done, the fan art, things like that. But yeah, right there, if you click that one picture, the third one over, that's me with the books in front of it, that shows the three main covers. So that's got,
there we go.
Yeah. So that's Adventures of Carl. That one actually, that edition is sold out right now. I'm reformatting it to get it republished in a slightly larger size. This doesn't show the actual sizes. The Expendables and the Boomtown Scabs are actual size comics, where the Carl book was more like a manga sized. I'm gonna go just a little bit larger to make it a little bit better for reading in this next run through. About halfway through formatting that. The Expendables I did with my buddy Adam Talley, and Adam has been very successful in Kickstarters. In fact, he just launched another one today. And much like the Poe one, I was the first backer. So number one.
Now, I gotta say, I really love the premise of the Expendables, and I think there's a lot of potential in that.
I plan on wanting to revisit
see that as a TV series.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind revisiting that. The original, it started off as a one-shot comic. I did it for a bunch of guys at a comic shop I used to hang out at. So the characters are I gave all the characters their names, based them on them. So we all had a lot of fun with that. People liked it. They go, I want to be in the next one. So I did a second one and had more characters just so I could kill them off. I mean, but the premise of the books it's about a group of clones they brought in to fill in when a hero needs to die, but they know they're going to bring them back later. So, you get ready to kill, Captain America, where you get someone expendable to be Captain America when he dies. So when he comes back to life, it's the real Captain America. So that was always my answer, how they kill off characters to bring them back to life to use expendable clones. But then the 3-issue arc that was issues 2, 3, and 4 was taking on the anti-clone clones that were looking to destroy them, and so that way they could actually start killing the heroes in real life. I never got to that point. It got to the end of it and resolved itself in some ways, but I did get to kill off a lot of Expendables.
Nice.
But I'm going to revisit it.
You executed Order 66 in your own way.
Pretty much. But the main two characters were the main two guys are Adam and Kevin, who I'm still friends with to this day, and they loved it, and they told me I could continue to use them in future books if I wanted to, and so I may revisit them and relaunch the series down the road with new stories and come up with something cool. It's one of those things I keep on the back burner. It can definitely do it, and that started actually. Came about after my car accident. I was at the Pittsburgh Comic-Con, and Adam Talley is kind of kitty corn for me. He had messaged me several times after the accident. We'd met once before that, and we were but he's always supportive of independent comics, and he was like, "Hey, this is one of our own. We got to help him out." And him and I talked. I pitched the idea to him, and he wanted to draw it. So we did this 4-issue series over the next 5 years, I think it was. And my Expendables came out 8 months before Stallone's movie did. So I had no clue about Stallone's movie when we were doing the comics. So,
right.
But yeah, I mean, that's the main things I've done. I've done other stuff outside of Boomtown.
You'll have to change the name. Like maybe they could be the Extra Expendables.
I keep thinking I may have to just go the Ghostbusters route, go the real Ghostbusters, be the real Expendables.
The real Expendables.
Yeah.
I like that. There you go.
And maybe I'll do that and do a Ghostbusters parody with it, because the book's full of parody, action, and adventure, and fun. It's like I got a whole scene where some girl's talking about she hated all this tentacle rape in anime. So her character is in a tentacle rape scene, basically, without it being graphic or anything, because it's just for fun. But I had basically the Tentacle Man was torturing her, and she's dressed like Wonder Woman. So
Tentacle Man.
Yeah. And then if you look down here, that's if you go 3 over and 1 down, that's my Carl puppet based on the Adventures of Carl Rabbit. So, and that's when our Motor City Comic Con 2 years ago, I had Coral there.
Yes, that was our COVID-19 days.
Yeah.
Back when we were allowed to go outside. Look at you were allowed to be next to people.
Yeah, that's why I got to meet the ogre. So
that's right.
The ogre was great.
Awesome.
I loved meeting him. He was hilarious. And I'm wearing our Odd Musings t-shirt there for our other podcast.
Oh, there you are. Yeah. Yeah. And I think if you could go a little bit over to the right, Julie Montgomery over there was probably looking at envy at Don Gibb for getting to have a picture with you.
She was definitely jealous. And I didn't even really go and meet her. I met him because I wanted to meet him, and then I met the guy that played Lamar from the Revenge of the Nerds movie. He was actually really cool to talk to also. And that, but so you can definitely check out. I guess I post pictures from shows there. I post when I'm going to be at a show on that page. So definitely follow me at Brett R. Pinson under Facebook. And I'll be sharing the Bardstone stuff there. So yeah, Kevin's got 2 different ones, but you got Kevin E. Minor and then Kevin Minor Artist.
Yeah. I try to keep him.
Kevin Minor Artist. Yeah, he just wants to mess me up. Because every time I go to do his, it's like I click his personal page instead of his art. Let's try this one.
I try to keep what's on the art mainly on the art page, but my personal page I'll throw some other personal things.
Is this your art page?
No, that's his personal.
That's the regular one, but the link's on there somewhere.
Curse you!
It's on there somewhere.
Let's see. Where are you?
Right there.
We are. See, this is the problem. Kevin E. Minor shared Kevin E. Minor.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Mess me up. There we go.
It's multitasking.
Oh, that's it. Art of Kev M. I looked up the Art of Kev M. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to find Kevin's art page, go to @Art of Kev M, and you'll find that. Follow him for all his adventures. And right now, of course, you're seeing updates from Poe. What happens if I view the live stream of this stream while inside?
It turns into the episode of Spaceballs. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we see the past and the
Where are
future
we? This is now. What happened to then? That was then. We passed then. When? Just now.
Who's on first? Yeah.
And what's your name?
Kevin,
Major asshole.
Kevin, you also have some other books you have done. Let's see. I'm trying to see here. Do you have photo albums of them? Or?
No, I'm very unorganized. But
we'll share this one.
I did. Yeah,
this
that's
is when you got to see Sid Haig before he passed.
Yeah, I've met Sid several times over the years, and he was a really good guy. And I done some illustrations for him. He's always a pleasure to talk to, and it was very sad. Not a surprise to hear that he passed, but very sad. I'll tell you, his stories and just how much he appreciated the fans and how much he appreciated the fandom that he got so late in life. I mean, if you look up his IMDb, the guy's in like 200 different things. He was in every TV show that you've ever seen.
He was in the pilot for Rockford Files.
Wow.
Yeah, he played a heavy in Rockford Files.
Amazing.
He was on the A Team. He was in V. He was in, if you name it, he was something. He's just, it's insane when you really see.
He was a great character actor. He always played these like heavies, these tough guys, background characters in a lot of ways, but he's a great character actor. And then look what happens in the 90s. He just gets a couple roles in independent movies that propel him to stardom, especially since the conventions took off then.
Yeah. So, I did a Christmas Carol. It was just a illustrated version of A Christmas Carol I always wanted to do. So
this is some original art that you did for the book, right?
Yep. So that was a big book. So I love that. A Christmas Carol and Poe and Christmas Carol is basically a Christmas ghost story. It's close to the way Poe would have wrote that story. I mean, it's always been one of my favorites. So some different illustrations and stuff from shows, just some fun, some stuff.
You do a lot of convention sketches.
Yeah, I try.
And if you follow Kevin, you see lots of posts of food.
Lots of posts of food, yes. And beer.
One thing
that meal looks
and I
familiar.
can always count on is Kevin choosing a good restaurant.
Every now and then I'm bad. Every now and then, but
you've had like one, and it wasn't even your fault. It just turns out that was just a bad location.
Oh,
this is the pizza place in Chicago, right?
This is Gino's East, the famous wall that you draw on. So I'm drawing Batman, which you're never gonna friggin' see it. But
I wonder if you can find my signature from. Let's see, it would have been like around 2002.
That's one of the like staples of Chicago. If you're in Chicago, you got to either go to Giordano's or Gino's East. Those are the two staples. You got to go to the downtown one, the originals, or Uno's. A lot of people know Uno's from the franchise, but the original Uno's is downtown Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Or you can go to Pizzeria Do, which is their second restaurant that was down there. Yeah, Uno's and Do.
So Leslie Brandt there is I think I said her name right, from Lucifer, actually one of my favorite TV shows. was so kind to take a picture with illustration I did. Yeah,
And there's your
food.
better half.
Yep, there's my wife.
We got to get
Brandy.
Brandy on the show, so this is our way of getting Brandy on the show.
I think that's flying to probably Vegas, judging by the smile on my wife's face. And then some sketch covers and some fun.
Smile a year. And this was a fun one.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was such a blast. I don't know what was more fun, doing the trip, or screwing around with Scott for weeks before, telling him how bad the French food was going to be, knowing there was a McDonald's on the corner.
Which is funny because then where we stay was very Americanized.
I'll tell you, I know I've been there several times, but I'm usually in more of the outskirts in France. So even I was surprised at how Americanized Paris was. Scott was beside himself. He just couldn't believe how it just felt like we're in a city in America.
I felt like it was downtown New York.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. I knew zero French. and it was fine. I had zero problem.
Yeah.
Everyone always talked about how rude they were. They couldn't have been nice. I had people apologizing to me for not knowing English. And it's like, why are you sorry? I'm in your country.
Yeah.
It was such a joy to be there. And I really hope to get back to Comic-Con Paris someday.
Yeah, that is definitely on the list of it was probably one of my favorite shows I've ever done.
It'd be fun to take Bardstone over there and
yes.
Go.
Oh, I'll tell you, it would go over crazy over there. And the weird thing about that is they don't want the books in the French or the European versions. They want the American versions of the books. They consider
it's actually different. Don't they do a different dimensions?
What's that?
Don't they do different dimensions for their comics too, if I remember right? They're like a little smaller or bigger or something.
They do everything a little bit different. There's not a lot of different conventions in Europe, let alone France. There's a couple small ones, but that one that we went to, which you and I would consider to be medium at best in America, they would consider their San Diego. That was their San Diego Comic-Con. That is people planned all year long. They wanted to come to the show. It was just a breath of fresh air. And it's just a great environment, and they just really love comics. So yeah, I could definitely, I would love to be able to take the Bardstone. Probably not going to happen this year, but something to look for next year with a couple of books and everything else is to go over there and enjoy it again. It is one of those shows that you just want to go, get to meet the people because it's such a great experience. I'll tell you this, after we did that show, I released Creatures and Creators. I released in A Christmas Carol and last year. I had so many backers on the Kickstarter from France. I think Creatures and Creators, I shipped equal amounts of books to America as I did to everywhere else in the world. A lot in France, a lot in England, and a lot of people that we met at the shows. So it's just one of those scenarios that when you have to go to experience it. But I would go as long as I could go to that show and be able to show my books, sell it, and just get the experience and the good feelings of the way the people were. That's worth it. It's not a show that I want to go to make any kind of money. I want to go to see those fans again and experience the excitement and just we had a ball.
I just love the power I felt in drinking full coffee in front of French people. They were amazed by my ability to drink cups this large.
Americano. You have to order Americano.
Yeah. My first cup, it comes out, it's like, what is this? And half of it was milk.
You have like three
it's just a wee little coffee. Just a sweet little coffee for you. Just a little wafer coffee.
I've got a full cup of coffee. He's like, where'd you get that? I'm like, out there. Why not? And the food, my God, they're just like, here's an American sandwich. And they give you like a Scooby-Doo sandwich. You have to tie a string around.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
It
stuff.
was
Good
great.
stuff for sure.
It
But
was.
I absolutely loved it there. People were awesome there. Every negative stereotype I ever heard, none of it happened. It was a pleasure from beginning to end.
Well, it can happen. It's like anywhere in America. You can go to New York and have a great experience, or you can go to New York and get mugged and murdered. I mean, it just, yeah, it depends on. But we went all over Paris. We walked from, which didn't look as far as it really was, from the Louvre to the Eiffel Tower. Like, oh, we can see it over there. It can't be that long of a walk. Halfway there, I'm like, how friggin' long are we walking?
Well, that's like Vegas fools you when you're like, oh, look,
Yeah.
there's Caesars. Let's walk to Caesars.
Right.
8 hours later, how come we're not there yet?
I know. You're like, oh, I'm just going to walk one casino over. You kind of forget that each casino is a square mile.
Right. Right. Well, I remember we get to the base of the Eiffel Tower, and there was a different price to either walk up or take the elevator. And Scott's like, I think maybe we could walk up. And I swear to God, I would throw you. I'm just like, what?
I have to say, that was. I was shocked though. Like you even when we were there in person, it's like, okay, that's a little bigger than I expected. But when we take that first elevator, we were only on the third floor or second floor, and I looked down, like, holy! I thought this is how tall it was from the top. I even told Kevin, I said, I might be nervous. I don't know if I can go up all the way because this is way higher than I expected. Then you go up to the next level, and you're still not at the top. You're near the top. And then you go up to the top and you're up there and it's like, wow, this is high. And you're outside.
Yeah. It's one of those tourist things that you always think, oh, it's just a tourist trap or whatever. And then you actually go and you're like, this it's one of the ones that actually lives up to the hype. And we went at night too. So I think that added, I'd almost want to go back during the day to be able to see.
Yeah, now I gotta see it during the day. Yeah. But you know what's bizarre about it? It was the spotlight. It looked like a giant lightsaber. It was like this beam of light, and it ended. It had an end point, and it looked like a lightsaber swinging around. It was so weird.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it'd be nice to take the show on the road internationally.
Oh yeah, and that's the goal with this. We want Bardstone everywhere.
Right.
So. Well, so we're hitting the 1 hour mark here. Anything else you wanted to cover?
No, I think just again to thank everybody for who's already backed it. Ask everyone to keep sharing the links and try to get.
I want to point this out too. You got the Poe Macabre Master sketch covers, so there are rewards available where we'll do original art for you on the cover, and. You know, that just makes it extra special because that's a one of a kind. No one else will have it because it's original drawings right on the cover there. So do you remember their price point for sketch covers?
The sketch cover is 50. So you'd get the sketch cover, you'll get a digital copy of the book. So you wouldn't have to necessarily open the sketch cover if you don't want to. Again, it's an original piece of art and I might post a couple of sketches of what that might look like eventually. Obviously, in my head, it's either going to be like a Poe portrait or Red or someone getting violently murdered. One of those three things, probably. So,
or all three together.
Or all three together. Yeah, it is a theme in a lot of the books. People die. That's just kind of how it happens. I mean, Telltale Art. I'm really excited. I've been working on laying out the page where he's chopping up the body in the bathtub. That's fun. I'm telling you.
Speaking of which, I almost forgot. I wanted to just mention it. I had sent you the story, and I believe I sent it to Brett as well, where Poe wrote a story in the 1800s about a ship with four crew members in it that shipwrecked, and they ended up having to eat one of the crew members to survive.
Yeah.
And off the top of my head, I'm blanking on the character's name. It was I forget. But there was a first and last name of this victim who it was. And they drew straws. That's the custom of the sea. draw straws to decide who's going to be sacrificed. And this character drew the short straw, and they killed him and ate him to survive. Well, fast forward about 50 to 80 years later, turns out then a shipwreck occurred with a crew of 4. They had to draw straws to decide who would die. And the person who was eaten had the same name as the character who was eaten in the story written 80 years earlier.
Yeah.
How bizarre is that?
Yeah. But it adds to the weird vibe and just the atmosphere
That's
that
the Macabre Master. You don't earn that title. That's not given out willy-nilly.
No, and I think when you really go back and read his stories and realize, well, one, he was just a tormented man, which, you know, tormented people make the best art, whether it be music, poetry, writing, artwork. I mean, really, when you think about it, some of the best creations we've had were from the most tormented people. He really translated that very well, but he captured that feeling. And I think, again, anyone that reads it is going to have their own interpretation of it. And I say it all the time whenever I talk to someone about Poe. I've reread these stories now that I'm in my 40s, and I remember some of the stories I haven't read since I was a teenager, and they mean completely different things to me now. Some same, you know, vibe or the same, you know, intent is still there, but having, you know, 40 years of experience and looking back at that, you start to really realize that it's
You're
not
able to read
art.
You're able to see that deeper layer, deeper meaning that he has behind the story, which takes us back to the, you know, the whole purpose of you doing these books here, this series, is you're retelling those stories in a modern light to help uncover some of those deeper layers.
Yeah, I'm trying to spin it in a way that people might not have thought about the books. I try to add a little twist here and there. I mean, there's a couple of stories that are a little straightforward, just tellings, and there are some that are completely not what you expect. The next issue, it's a little bit of a sneak preview. The Telltale Heart is going to be fantastic. It's a great twist about who's telling the story, because in the famous question is, you never know who's telling you the story in the Telltale Heart. It never identifies who the narrator is. It never speaks of him by name. And I shouldn't even say him. It doesn't tell you if it's a woman. It doesn't tell you if it's a man. It doesn't tell you what that person's relationship was to the old man that was killed.
So what if you read the narrator's voice as like Samuel Jackson?
Exactly. Well, then...
Or Morgan.
Fun dialogue. Let me say that. You know, the path of
Morgan Freeman.
But
we'll hire Morgan Freeman to read Poe Macabre Master in audio.
Let me tell you about my friend Andy Dufresne's heart.
Well, you did mention before about the boxes, like Sean Forney. When he skipped out his Scarlet Huntress.
Loved it.
Fantastic boxes. I'm really happy for that. So I will throw one little nugget out that one of the covers for issue number 2 will be illustrated by Sean Forney.
Sweet.
Agreed to do a cover for the second issue.
Will it feature churros?
I don't know. I'll give him some freedom and let him know.
Telltale churro.
So I contacted him a while back, and it was one of those scenarios where I'm definitely going to have him do a cover, and I may even have him do a little bit more than that, depending on, again, how these Kickstarters go. The other thing, the second issue will feature a story by our good friend Jay Fife. Jay is going to provide a story for the second issue, and I'm really excited about that part. I get to involve, like Scott said earlier, about being involved in the creative process with other people. So it'll keep the the creativity flowing, and it'll add some variance to the style, the storytelling, and it'll help keep everybody on their toes. I want to give everybody some stories and visions that they haven't seen before, some new takes on Poe, and entertain people. So if you like Poe, you're gonna like these books. That's I really want to produce something that someone reads, gets a good chuckle out of, because there are going to be some tongue-in-cheek moments, and read these and smile and remember. I remember reading that story when I was a kid, and hopefully it encourages people to go and pick up the book, go and find the actual writings of Poe, and sit down and just read some of them again. That's really the biggest compliment you can ever give someone. If someone reads my comic and it lures them back into reading, the original works of Poe, I'll call that a win, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Nice. So check out Poe Macabre Master. Please consider making a pledge. There's a variety of rewards out there. Or if you don't want a reward, you can still send $100. You don't have to get a reward.
We won't turn it down.
And but in all seriousness, check it out. You're supporting comics, and even if you can't do it, we understand. But there is a share button there that you can see right down here. So even if you just share it, that's a big help in of itself. So visit the website,
right?
Click the share button there. Put it on your Facebook, tweet. You can email it, whatever you like. So there's multiple ways of getting the word out, and every little bit helps, because you'll reach people through your social media that we can't. So
right, absolutely.
Oh, guys, I think we should check in next week around the same time and do this again and see where we're at.
Yeah.
And then I noticed it ends at 8:00. Is that Eastern time or is that Pacific time that it ends at 8:00 on the 28th?
Eastern. So
Eastern
8:00 on. Well, let's see. We have 2 weeks. From 2 weeks from
yeah.
today.
So we'll have to do a countdown to that also. So we can definitely get that going. But I'd be nice checking next week, see which stretch goals we've hit, see where we're at, and keep everybody updated on that, because I think it's a good thing. And I mean, 60 backers right now. That's really great. Especially in this time of COVID.
I'm so I'm blown away by everyone's support, and I'm so thankful for everyone. So thank you guys for helping with this. Thanks for everyone that's already pledged, and please keep sharing and keep the word spreading, and let's make this book as big and as cool and as possible, and let's keep adding some swag to everybody. Let's get some freebies in everybody's hands.
There we go.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
So let's work on this and see where we can take it. Bigger the better.
All right. So on that note, we're going to say, everyone have a good night. Consider Poe Macabre Master.
Yeah.
And until next time.
And don't sign off, guys. Wait till we're off air and we'll talk for a minute.
Okay.
Yes. Kevin likes to hit the end button like this. It's at the end. And then we can't talk to him. All right.
Yeah.
I'm ending the broadcast, but you stay on, Kevin.
Bye, guys. Okay. Bye. Bye.